Let's go to create the bottom tab. We're all done here. So we close these unnecessary files that are open here. Then make another shared component with bottom tab .js. Here we import React from React, we import Vue from React Native, and we make our functional component named bottom tabs equals to props and returns something like a view tag, and we export it in curly brackets. Now, one step away, export everything from bottom tab. And that's okay. We load it here in our test component that is named home. Bottom tabs. Let's load it. That's okay. Now we're gonna create it. We have a padding vertical of like the full width button. Let's see which padding we have given to the full width button. Padding vertical of 25. So here again we need something like full width button. So I copy the styling and change that here with 100% for the radius of 25 in the top like this, and more than 25 in the bottom. So we have to define border radius of border bottom left radius of, for example, 35, and border bottom right radius of 35. And here we have to import remove from constant, and I think we just have to define this style that we have given as props. Let's see how it looks. That's okay, but it doesn't have any contents. Because of this it looks like this. Let's try it with the contents, like these icons. Okay, I give children as a prop because, as you notice, here we have something like this bottom tab that has different contents. So for using this component for bottom tab and this button, I give children as a prop. It's better. So we created a layout for it and we use it in different screens. We just have to create our bottom tab, or it's better to rename it like bottom tab layout. It's better to do that because bottom tab layout. Yes, updating course for bottom tab layout. It has changed in index, and then in home we have to change it to bottom tab layout. It's better that we make a component for the bottom tab separately and use it in the home page to test. So we go to our components, make a bottom tab .js, import React, and then we create our bottom tab. Let's do something and return bottom tab layout, and export default. I export these components that are in the components folder of the SRC with export default. Sorry, we have to export bottom tab. That's okay. Here we have bottom tab layout, and as a style we need flex direction of row. Then here we need 5 icons, so we make a constant for icons for simplicity of using icons. Here I make constant icons equals to an array, and inside it we can use objects and name the icons like icon and icon name, for example map outline. You can use just map outline and map through this array, but we do not need to do that because we want to code clearly. So I do the same thing as I described and name icons here in the curly bracket. Don't forget to use comma at the end. So we specify what's the name of this icon. Go to an icon, something like this. I use this one, business sharp. So the first one is business sharp. Copy these icons to 5, and we need here an airplane. Look for an airplane. That's okay. We use this airplane sharp and fit. Airplane sharp. Double click this and change it to the airplane. The next one is train. Okay, train, it's good. I think this one matches better to the design, so I use this train. I change all these to train. The next one is taxi or car. Let's see which one we have here. Taxi, car. Fit is better. Car. And here we have a tree. Tree, plant, or leaf. Leaf. Now map through the icons array. Icons dot map elements index and return icon tag with the name of element dot icon, size of 24, color of white. Let's import the icons. Import icons from vector icons, unicons. That's okay, but don't forget to give a key of index to it, so the warnings about the key will disappear. Okay. We haven't loaded button tabs here. Let's load that button tab. Okay, you see them here, but you want a bigger icon like 35, and you need a justified content space between, to have a space between all these equally, and align items of center. That's okay, but we need the padding horizontal here. Padding horizontal of 25. And maybe we have to increase this amount, like 45, to get more similar to this side of the design. Let's compare. It's almost okay, but we need a more padding horizontal here. Padding vertical, like 30. Now that's not bad. But as you see, the colors are different because here we are in the business tab and the business icon is white and others are disabled. For doing this, first of all, we have to make these icons touchable. So we go to bottom tab, import a touchable opacity from React Native. Touchable opacity. Touchable opacity is exactly like the view but touchable. So for making these icons touchable, I wrap them in touchable opacity. You see that nothing changes in the screen. But don't forget to move this key index to the wrapper. Now they are touchable, but we have to show that. How to detect that which one is selected? As you see, we have a key of index for every of the icons, and we do not have too many icons, just 5 icons. So we have an onPress attribute here. We name it an icon press and pass index to it. Here you see that we have written a functional component. So I remove all these and cut all these. Remove this one. Press CCS. And it makes the whole class component for you. Just paste this in the return. and that's okay. Now you need to say that this does an compress. Created before render. An compress index. Here it's just enough to set the index in a state. So I make a state named, for example, pressed index. Like it's 0 by default, and here we have this the set state. This that set state press index to int. Here in the icon color we say that if, just read the state here, equals to this that state, pressed index, say that if pressed index matches int, the color is white, otherwise the color is okay. That's it, it's working. So we have created our bottom tab too, and we can compare it to the design. It's okay.